And okay, there's no Blitz, there's no Montang. I know yesterday I actually got confused. You weren't here, but we had both Montang and Blitz banned down. We were playing Consular, and there was a Fuse rush.
And you're like, where's the shield come from?
No, I was like, oh, it's Blitz. And then after the round goes like, by the way, it was Fuse. And I'm like, oh my god, it was. Yeah. And it's like, the similarity though, it's literally like Blitz that just can't flash you. Like, it's not that different. Like, you can just run in, and it's the same kind of mentality, the way you would play the Blitz, the way you would kind of play the Fuse. And in that round, if you were to like hide the bans, you'd be like, oh, it's a Blitz rush.
100%. And you know what? I think Fuse is probably the biggest benefactor of that shield rework that came through, because in the old days, right, Blitz has his flash and Monty has his extend. Both make your shield stronger, right? Fuse doesn't have any utility that actually helps make his shield better. And what's more, Blitz could sprint with his shield in front of his face, and Monty and Fuse couldn't. So Fuse was essentially the worst of both worlds. He was the weakest shield by far. Now, all of the shields can sprint with their shield in front of their face, and it doesn't really matter that Fuse doesn't have the ability to sprint, to flash his opponents or to extend his shield, because...
I mean, to be quite broken.
I mean, yeah, he certainly doesn't need it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just so valid as an operator, and also that PMM is probably the best pistol in the game, so having that certainly helps out. I don't think OUTLAST will be too upset about seeing those two shields banned if they're happy to flex onto a third. But of course, no shield in this lineup as we go to CCTV. And as Vinny alluded to, seeing two shields banned does leave a lot more hard breach available. But this juggle game is going to be pretty easy for Razor, and he does protect his position. However, he does lose his life. Realize though, immediately traded back.
Yeah, I mean, you just bait the bandit into the juggle when you know that you can get someone in to go and get the kill while he's juggling on the wall. And that's exactly what Relays has gone and done on the Nook. Nitrocel's nice, though. That is a really good Nitrocell from Grind. Okay, ODIUM. Player advantage now. By the way, minute 55, James. It feels like this round would be down like a minute left. It's actually gone by quite slowly. Outside of the juggle towards Con Wall, not really much else outside breach. On the repel now for Ned. These are the rounds that ODIUM need to start converting, though, at the Pro League level when, you know, you're up 4 versus 3. Yes, it's tertiary site cash and CCTV, but some big players off the board. Relays and ACOG have been statistically like the 2 best players for OUTLAST, so this should be far more winnable now for ODIUM.
They should know that the Buck is making his way in through bar now. There were 2 players for ODIUM downstairs. You can see the Castle making vertical potential to try and hold on to that position, but he's not going to be able to hold on to it with the Buck moving forward. OUTLAST need to make sure that they're supporting their Buck here. Yentai cannot do this alone.
Pace has certainly slowed down. Caught one in towards Garage, but Yentai loses the battle in the 1v1 with Freelo. Drop does come down pretty quickly as well, right here too. So double stack in towards Lounge now for ODIUM. They get the play brought back up. They're going to have to go quick now. Time starting to run out. It's elusive here for OUTLAST. They're struggling to really make a proper entry, just wanting to try and maybe get this wall opened up, dealing with that battery. Freelo, though, does get the kill onto Yentai eventually, and now this becomes quite difficult for OUTLAST.
Yeah, and there's a mirror window as well on the entry. Bailey here with his flashes tries to enable some form of an entry, but Crine's on the other side. Already found 2 big picks this game. Or this round, I should say. Ned does find his top red player, though, from that cheeky position on the breach. Here comes the entry from Bailey, and Crine will cut him down.
Nice, Crine.
Big round from him, and Hale. ODIUM find their first.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really say too much, but this was Hale, I imagine, in Rafters as he got the final kill. And the fact that he's just not peeking there. So big. It seems like it's a very basic instinct, but it's so easy to just maybe overpeak, sense a bit of pressure in towards side. He just has to hold his angle, trust his teammate. Crine has the cross from Cash. And in the end, he did. And it's a big round win for ODIUM. We mentioned the statistics of it. We saw it when the guys were talking on the couch. 8% defensive win rate. 2 days of gameplay. Like, that's, you know, and 0% on the attack.
Can I hit you with another percent stat?
Yeah.
Okay, ODIUM have just had an 100% increase in their round wins in that round. 100% on their whole stage round wins, because they'd only won one before today.
I didn't hate this necessarily in terms of the idea of playing essentially the game with the bandit and saying Relays go kill him when he's going to start juggling, and then you can pop in from the con window outside CCTV. But to be fair, ODIUM just had numbers still around bedroom. You hadn't cleared out, you know, bedroom. So in the end, that ends up being their downfall. You lose one of your top players. Relays and ACOG have been 2 of their top players so far at this stage, and you're always going to make life more difficult for yourself when you don't have those guys. Again, onto the Nook. I feel like Nook, in terms of clubhouse, is not something we always see all that often. So I'll be curious to see if it does work out for Relays.
Yeah, well, we've only had a couple of play days now Globally, since the change, yeah. And it doesn't really force Nook back into the meta. I mean, back when Nook was a main pick every single round, it was because she had nades and nades were so powerful. Of course, she herself received a few nerfs on top of the nades getting nerfed. Her FMG got worse. That's now been buffed with this recent patch. And most importantly, the gadget has been buffed. It only will elapse when either you sprint or while you're being observed by an observation tool. But it still isn't really an on-meta operator, and Relays has to prove that he knows the creative ways to use it. Clubhouse, yeah, I mean, with Valkyrie banned, I don't really see the point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could just be an added safety as you maybe go for a main stairs push later in the round. You're going to clearly look to open up Jacuzzi here. You bring in triple hard breach, so you're going to want to get some pressure main stairs if you do open up this part of the map. Can't imagine you're going to be putting Relays out like balcony, for example. That's something where maybe eventually an ACOG can go to.
I would like to know how OUTLAST intend to clear these mirror windows and that Clash as well.
Yeah, the Clash is going to be a nuisance here. Imagine Clash, late round, you know, blocking off, say, Jacuzzi or main. You know, if Relays even gets into a position where you can maybe get top main control and then the Clash just comes in, especially after you kind of forfeit cash.
Was that the intention from the player prone on the ground? Yeah, C4. I don't know how you missed that with the outlines. Unfortunate. However, Razor's got a really tight angle all the way from the back of Master. But the Clash has gone down. Yeah, that's a question mark for me. I'm not sure if ACOG was able to use an EMP to enable that kill, or perhaps just get the drop on Freelo. But out of that exchange, I gotta say, it's been won by OUTLAST.
Yeah, I think dealing with that Clash is certainly going to help facilitate later in the round. Flash dump here from Bailey pretty early. There is Relays, by the way, top main. So that push coming in now, I think Bailey wanting to help facilitate him by clearing out this hallway, deal with the mirror. They can push together. There's that player out of logistics. So in Razor down to 6 HP. This is a mini win right now for Bailey. He just even getting into this position to win. You deal with default. They still haven't spotted Relays here.
Yeah, good flank though, coming in through from Krine. Ready to retake this top main position. Spots out the Nook. And Relays did not expect a re-aggression from that mirror. 2 players left up for OUTLAST. Still a bit of time to work with, but again, that diffuser has been dropped at the top of main stairs. And Ned's position has been revealed. ACOG still on the windows, and have a look at this from Hale. There's no way that he gets cleared here. Ned will have to hit the shot of his life, and it'll have to be a huge mistake from Hale.
Crime's playing kit. So at this point now for ODIUM, they don't have to do much else. ACOG and Ned aren't even really close to being able to retrieve the diffuser with so little time. That's a wonderful kill though from ACOG, and could double down. Mirror though running out in the open. Crime does not need to be there, James.
No, he doesn't.
He had kit at top main and came back into bedroom.
And now it's a 2 versus 1. Razor is hiding in the corner. All they need to do is kill him. Ned finds it. Oh my, Razor. 6 HP the poor bandit was, and he was left all alone in a 1v2, down from the 3v2. Amazing round from ACOG, big 4K. Jumping into that window and taking out that player on the shield, saved his teammate and saved the round.
Kind of just want to wait for the replays here to emphasize with like 19 seconds left, Krine's top main with the kit. That becomes your new win con. You don't need to go back into bedroom. You've still got Hale in a pretty good spot in con. Okay, he loses this battle, but James, look at the time. Why are you pushing back into bedroom at that point? You're not going to lose the round by him getting bedroom control when you still got kit top main. You can play time. You can actually play down main stairs at that point, even let him get the kit, and then you can push out of logistics late round to deny the plant. So much more that they could have done to win that round for ODIUM, but it does kind of feel like it almost got attracted to the gunfire. As ACOG was pushing into bedroom, got that really nice kill. It was just like flies to the lights, being like,
the flame, yeah.
Gotta hit here. We gotta fight, and it's like you don't need to at that point.
Yeah, Krine definitely lacked a little bit of discipline in that moment. He should have realized the win condition was playing top main, as you said. And the other one I want to highlight, sadly, is Razor. Like, he had a player walk past him, not look at him. He should have won that fight and made it a 1v1. But I think just intensity rather, when you're in that 3 versus 2 and then 2 of your teammates die and you're sitting here trapped in a corner on 6 HP, yeah, no one wants to be in that position, and it got to him a little bit. Unfortunate for ODIUM because they really should be 2-1 up right now. As we go back to the basement, OUTLAST no more fuse, but still that Ying. We do have potential for some kind of an explosive push.
What's the saying? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah. Well,
and in this case, I think the expectation is always they're going to have a bit more pressure in towards dirt, whether it's a Banshee, Goon Mine, player presence.
well, what's more, I mean, OUTLAST did that rush last time because they read that there was such a big roam from ODIUM. Now we have 5 defenders on site.
Yeah, and that's probably playing too much in. I don't think you needed to play 5 on site. Even just a couple of Goon Mines, you put even, Banshee, someone playing towards, back of Arsenal. In the end now, it's like you've kind of given up so much of that top floor control that you're a little bit too hemmed in. You're going to allow OUTLAST to play the floorboards off the buck. You've got the Ash who can go main stairs already, cut off any kind of rotates, easy drone game, no pressure. And eventually you think about, well, what are you going to get from that? Well, the buck, getting the floorboard control in towards Kitchen, coupled then with Ying, Grim, you're just going to be able to get so much pressure to those down below. I would be surprised if OUTLAST don't find a kill or two from being able to have this Kitchen control so early in the round, absolutely uncontested.
Absolutely agree. OUTLAST should be favored here.
Oh, he spots the foot.
There you go. Free kill on Nakai. The top fragger from ODIUM goes down early looking for a C4 kill. He finds nothing, loses his life, and as you said, now it's time for OUTLAST to get to work on this floor.
Yeah, I mean, well, in theory, they had already started, and they just kind of spotted the toe of Cryin, who then made himself even more readily available to get shot at. The rest from here should be formalities. The big thing for OUTLAST, though, is to not get kind of lulled into then this rush onto site, as long as they have multiple avenues of attack. Someone coming in through blue, secret, eventually like a moto drop. We don't actually see teams really go for kitchen drops anymore, James. Half the time, they barely even really care about getting the hash open if they are running low on the ability to open it up. So that's not something that... And for good reason. We've seen so many teams in the past that go for a kitchen drop and it just falls apart. So they prefer the secret, moto drops, dirt even... 45 seconds, plenty of time, player advantage. I'd be very surprised if OUTLAST lose this round.
They should be going for a main stairs hit here. They should be able to find
bot main.
Several players an advantage now, especially with the Candela flashing these 2 players inside a site.
I think they've opened
Noah's
up
army to protect them. Triple has been opened up indeed. Yentire finds his double. I believe that was from the bottom of main stairs. Another big one for Ned. It's all up to Ray. He's just gone. Easy as you like. OUTLAST dominating on the basement.
That's a wonderful shot from Ned. I mean, it's never an easy shot to hit like that when someone's expecting you. We watched it from the POV, and then like you're watching, and it just gets swung, and it's just, that's disgusting. 3 attacking rounds, by the way, and the fact that we are on Clubhouse. It all started here, though. Again, where's the pressure up above? Even some semblance of pressure in terms of, we see a lot of teams like play that kind of main stairs, poking around kitchen, just saying, hey, we're here. Keep you honest. You can't just do this for free. And in the end, for ODIUM, it's just a classic case of 5 on site. Everyone's holding key positions, sure, but so much pressure happening up above. You got Grim, you've got Ying. The Candelas were so influential for that push in towards Church. You opened up triple because there's just no pressure. Where's the Nitro Cells towards bot main? Like, where are you defending? You're not defending this position. Cryin dying early on the mirror. You can't then have someone playing that position. So, unfortunately for ODIUM, they're, again, getting kind of taught a lot of these lessons right now where, you're kind of doing too much of one, where it's like 5 roaming above, and then too much of the other, where you got 5 down in basement.
And the problem with the 5 in basement with this set of bans is the Kaid is out. And that means there's no way you're denying that church wall. You mentioned that they were denying that kitchen hatch, and the attack wasn't really focusing too much on it. The Tubarao is being used on both the motor hatch and the kitchen hatch. Doesn't matter. You want to try and delay and protect that church wall for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And
I thought that's what they were going to be using it for, and then I see triple get opened up. I'm like, well, where's the Zoto canisters?
Yeah, I mean, no bandit.
That's what you want to protect.
No, I would have even picked a bandit here. Like, anything you could do to try and protect that triple wall. And if we see ODIUM go back down there later, I expect that they will make an adaptation. They really need to. But I want to credit OUTLAST for a second, Jake, because we had, I hate to use the word, a bit of split theory in that round. Really nice way that they pushed from the moto hatch, from bot main, and most importantly, they had a guy on the other side coming from dirt as well, which was Ned, who found the final 2 kills. OUTLAST know that sometimes you have to push everywhere on the map to capitalize on your advantage and expose these positions.
Yeah, I think at this point it's becoming quite basic fundamentals for Modern Siege in 2024. You've got to be able to use.
We've seen plenty of teams struggle.
Yeah, we do, absolutely, and that's what I was saying in that round. You definitely can't. Oh, by one of the obs, you can't. When you start wilding around, you're up 5-4. You got all this, first floor control. Don't then get lulled into this sense of like, let's just triple stack down main because we're just winning. And I think they did a really good job in that, and agree with you entirely. Clash again. This time we'll see if Freelo can make it work. Last time out, we did see it lose its life early and had little impact. It looks like a standard hold too, and you know the Clash is playing that cash presence where you've got then Hail towards top red, so pretty kind of standard split right now from ODIUM defensively. Again, no real pressure Jacuzzi wall. I'd like to see a little bit more, you know, denial there, try and keep that closed, because actually one thing I've noticed this stage in particular, teams have done a better job at keeping Jacuzzi closed. It is actually something you can deny. The Con's opened up, Jacuzzi's opened up, CCTV's opened up, you've already fallen back, Cash, playing the Cash. Now you're playing a shield behind a shield.
Yeah, and Jaeger used some of his ADS as a top red, which means there are less to protect his shield in Con. I'm not sure if he has any to protect it in Con. I haven't managed to see any of those ADSs yet.
What about the time when we get a Scopos that's playing behind a deployable shield, that's playing behind a Clash?
Bro, don't get me started. Can't wait for Scopos to come into competitive play, but we'll have to wait a little bit longer for that to happen. Good progress here from OUTLAST on this attack. Do not peek this Razor. This is the last thing you need to do. Do not get baited into giving up your life.
Yeah, I mean, have ODIUM overpeaked a lot in this game? Sometimes. I don't think it's been their biggest downfall, though. I think OUTLAST have just done a really good job of some really good entry kills. We saw it in the push as well from ACOG earlier in Bedroom, last round as well, Ned, Basement. 40 seconds, 5v5. Honestly, shaping up to be one of the better rounds for ODIUM simply because they haven't really done much. They've fallen back, very defensive, given up map control again, but they'll just play these close positions and hope for the best when it comes to these swings.
Drone ahead, ACOG to drop the hatch and find his kill. And relays as well. I mean, it's just a bloodbath. Easy push in, collapse on Logistic with a player out the breach.
Why are they the ones swinging? So that's the thing. I thought that, like, for the most part, in terms of the identity of that round, it's like, let's play close angles. We're going to give up that map control. We're going to force them to hit with like 30 seconds to go. 25 seconds, 20 if we're lucky. But in the end, they all just start swinging out. We got on the defense player in the hallway position with Jacuzzi opened up. One swinging out from bathroom as well. Everyone else just swinging. Yeah. Because it's almost like perceived pressure. It's like we've given... If you want to sit back and then you give them the map and then you're like, oh, they've got the map. Like they're all around us now. Now I feel like very enclosed and claustrophobic. Now I'm going to swing out and try and get aggressive. And yeah, unfortunately, just so many angles that were opened up. And again, just it's the early minigames. Where's the battle towards Jacuzzi? We've seen teams keep that closed this stage. Over towards Logistic, just so easy for Ned. You had one in Con, you had one outside Jacuzzi. It's that split theory again you were talking about last round. So much of the map controlled by OUTLAST because ODIUM just kind of fall back. You got a Clash. Get in their face.
And ironically, the Clash was the first one to die. We didn't catch on camera how she died.
Twice now.
Yeah. Very questionable, very strange from ODIUM. How do you let your Clash die? It's not like we're seeing OUTLAST bring tons of hard counter util. We're not seeing Kali Zof or anything crazy like that. This Clash seemingly getting shot in the back. And what's more, a lack of respect, as you said, on the breach. There was an OUTLAST player on the breach. OUTLAST, to their credit, did make the first move. They were the ones who pushed in through Logistic.
Yeah.
But the entire of ODIUM then tunnel visioned it and tried to swing it and didn't respect all the other places where the OUTLAST players were.
I think as well, by the way, you know, I came into this game talking about OUTLAST more so than ODIUM, and so far they've impressed me again because of the way that they're playing. I think their fundamentals at this level for Siege are certainly a lot higher than I anticipated pre-season coming into this stage for this roster, for this team. They look like a team, to me, that right now I would label easily, if we did power rankings again, third, that would be looking to contest Chiefs. That would be looking to be a bit better than an Antic, for example. So
they beat Antic, they beat Supernova,
exactly,
like that's their next contenders.
The next step is really, can they beat Chiefs?
Yeah. Chiefs or GG, I wouldn't be surprised if OUTLAST are capable of really taking the fight to them. Of course, the last time OUTLAST played Chiefs, they were known as 5-Sharp, and Chiefs were known as Ludovica, and they got 14-0'd in the grand final of the Rex.
As Tight said, different game, different day, different map.
Sure. But who knows? I wouldn't put it past OUTLAST. They are looking phenomenal.
The beauty of it as well is if you do find a way to beat them, then suddenly you're actually in the conversation to go to the major, because then it comes down to, can you then beat Gaming Gladiators? That's just one step away, right? So I think they've got a really good stage ahead of them. I don't think they'll be looking at it too far ahead. It's all about that one day at a time mentality that a lot of these players instill, rightfully so. We see the Solas here now from Freelo. I need to see a bit more aggression here. Final round defense, ODIUM, pick up that pace. Don't go too crazy. Don't need a secret jump out. Players do watch this, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is being definitely highlighted as Ned already hearing the fact that that barricade was being messed with, and Freelo, well, his position in secret known.
He can't do it. There's a Claymore there. He's just going to fake it. You can't really shoot the Claymore when you jump out anymore because they remove the delay from you stepping the laser to the Claymore detonating. There used to be like a 0.2 second delay or something like that. They removed that. You can't. Yeah, they buff Claymore, so you can't really shoot it anymore when you jump out. Cryin has found Yensai, though. Taking a lot of damage for it, but
Jim.
It's Thatcher gone down. And I was about to say he gets away with his life, but this is why Outlast is so good. They always have a backup plan. Frelo might be able to find something here, though. If Relays keeps his Nook ability on, he will be scannable by Frelo.
Yeah, 60 seconds though, one of the slower rounds because finally ODIUM have actually spread out in terms of the map. That contest over towards Jim, forcing a clear from Outlast along with the first floor roam as well. Up main stairs right now for Frelo. Definitely, they should have some level of awareness though.
They know. He already took a few bullets and Relays has found his pick on site. Now they have to decide, do we flood and ignore the Solus behind us? Or do we try and kill him before we focus up on site? And they have time to make that decision. Relo's going to drop and try and play for spoils underneath the site.
Maybe he feels because it's a 4 versus 3 that he needs to get back, help out site, try and keep the numbers. But the battle out towards main breach won by the defense. As Hale finds 2, suddenly the numbers flip in favor of ODIUM.
Oh no, Bailey's the last one now. You can find Frelo, but there's quite a crossfire to walk into. Another big pick for him, but finished off in the end by that player on rafters. A damn close round, Jake. Really solid stuff from ODIUM. Outlast could not quite break in. Still, a 4-2 half is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, and you kind of look at the round and you say, well, why did ODIUM win that? And essentially, you got to bring it all the way back to the fact that it wasn't just 5 on site. They weren't just kind of sitting in anchored positions. They had to play over towards Jim on a cache and CCTV site. They had a player roaming down below, being a nuisance in secret. So you had 3 kind of players around site. Then you had 2 players off site being a bit of a pest. Something that Outlast had to go and deal with, had to go and clear with. Didn't do a horrible job at clearing it either, but the fact that Cryin gets at least 1, gets the opening kill, yes, he does get traded as he goes for the drop, the Nook being a nuisance, but overall, then when we kind of look at the time, there's 40 seconds left when they're in con looking to hit site. That's probably one of the slower rounds we've seen from Outlast in terms of then their attention to the site itself.
And for me, the defining moment of that round was, I believe it was Ned on the breach dying. The player on breach needs to be that one that can cut the site in 2, that can keep pressure. You don't have to find kills from that position. You just have to keep that pressure up. It's like what we've said on all of these attacks so far from Outlast. There's always one player pushing the other direction, passively usually, whether that's main stairs on a basement push or dirt on a basement push. Ned is often that guy in that position. But ODIUM played really well. They had 2 players peek him at the same time. They won that fight, and that was the moment for me when that round flipped in ODIUM's favor.
Yeah, I mean, there was no pressure on rafters, so at that point, if you're the player holding top red and you've got a rafters play and you say, hey, can we double swing the guy breach while there's a bit of con pressure, they're not going to be able to trade it. Yeah, really well played from ODIUM. So one of their better rounds. Now, they've got themselves a couple of opportunities, James, to find their first attacking round win off the stage here for Play Day 3. I really do hope that they're able to find success here, but it's not going to be an easy task attacking into Clubhouse. But we'll see how aggressive Outlast want to get. I mean, they're up 4-2. They're certainly comfortable. Very easy for these teams now to kind of like let caution go to the wind and just like start peeking and being, you know, very aggressive on the roam. And we're going to play contact at breach, at CCTV, at Jacuzzi, for example. These are very aggressive positions that Outlast have been holding so far to start this round.
But if I'm Outlast, I'm looking for a fall-off roam here. Shoot as many drones as you can. Get away with your life. That's exactly what the castle enables. He does swing, but he doesn't need to find this kill. He just needs to fall back.
And Ned dies top main holding Jacuzzi.
Yeah, he overstayed his welcome, did Ned. And now I think ACOG might have done the same. He's being cut off very well. If he finds one pick here, it could change the conversation. Cryin goes down.
Top red player.
Thankfully, it's just the striker. Not too bad losing that util, but now Outlast need to fall back to site.
Really nicely done for Relays to actually come and help out in that position.
What is that?
Well, I mean, Relays ends up dying because he probably should have gone secret. Instead, he went lounge.
Yeah, that was a bad call. I don't know what it was. Eventually, they find that trade back, but Razor was there in garage the whole time.
They trolled this round.
Yeah, I mean, I liked what we saw on that defense. Like, Azami even using a keeper barrier to block off the lounge door into garage to enable that retreat down red stairs and in through secret, but they didn't go through secret for some reason.
All they had to do is go secret, back to site, play site. They would have probably won the round, James. Instead, he cuts off and goes lounge because he wants to get aggressive, and it's just not necessary. And I was about to actually say, I think that when that player was stuck in cash, which I think was ACOG, and like, okay, I understand that the player on CC Bridge could push in, cut him off top red. You said, you know, he gets cut off here. The fact that Relays comes top red from Secret, watches that, allows him to get back. He got the kill as well onto Crane. And I'm like, well, that was great teamwork. Good play, back down Secret, and instead they run off to Lounge.
The only thing I can assume is for some reason he thought that there was a player on Secret window and he thought it wasn't safe to retreat through that position. And he might have only had one Keeper barrier. He had to choose between that and Garage. Ironically, he did make the right choice in protecting against the Garage pressure, but...
Let Default get some intel there on the hallway Yentai for now. One in Moto. Try and take these 1v1s if possible. Triple still actually reinforced. Only 20 seconds. Certainly if you can win this fight here in Moto, it's alive. He's got the kid. That's the kid, James.
There's no way you win this. I mean, we were talking like the round was over, but it was far from it.
10 seconds.
A 1v3 to a 1v1. He just has to win this one engagement. Why is he peeking? He's got a shotgun, for goodness sake! Bring out the shotgun, Hyde!
He could have run main. He could have gone upstairs. He could have played above. He could have done so many things. He could have actually even gone towards main and then wrapped back around the hallway.
Bro,
come in
get out
other
the
side
bloody shotgun and
anything.
The guy has to get the diffuser.
I think the idea in that situation for Yentai is like, if I swing him, maybe he's not expecting it, James. That's like the only thing I can, if I wanted to put my head into his thought process, is like, surely he's not going to expect me to swing him here, right?
Because it's an objectively bad play.
Yeah, exactly. But like, that's maybe the only thing I can think of. And we go back to that moment there, and yeah, you could see. So one did go Secret. So
and then he looked for the refract.
So if you're right, yeah, and then he's like, oh, well, my teammate just died. I'll then go Lounge to see if I can get the trade. Yeah. So that idea of like, oh, maybe there's one on Secret window, I think is dispelled immediately. They should have both gone down together.
Hyde with the shotgun. Hyde with the shotgun. Hyde with the... No. Easy pre-fire. Oh, man.
Passion, though, you can't deny it. It's there. But hey, ODIUM on the board. We should be celebrating their first attacking round win of the stage.
Credit to them.
Credit to them.
Credit to them.
And look, for the most part, I think that they played that well. They clearly knew there was a roam up above. Right, they didn't start rushing in. They certainly didn't try and do any shenanigans with like a site direct rush. They played into it, hit some good shots, punished mistakes, which you need to do at this level, punish mistakes, and they did that. But the fact that they almost threw a 3v1 at the end there.
They read the over-aggression. That was a good call. Like, if they had been traded there, if they hadn't had players cutting off those positions on the retreat, then they wouldn't have traded that back into a 3 versus 1. And yes, it almost slipped away, but a round win is a round win, and that's all ODIUM have to think about now. They're just one round behind OUTLAST, and Clubhouse attack is very doable, as Vinny was saying on the desk. Not quite as one-sided as it used to be, especially with these 2 shields banned. It leaves a slew of hard breach available.
Do you think you get that kind of casting passion in any other region, James?
Oh, certainly not.
Not in EUL?
No, I mean, you're the most passionate man
available. Not from Devon Pengu?
Oh, no, just no one can touch your passion, mate.
4-3, and you know, if ODIUM can just believe in themselves one round at a time, they're certainly capable. We see the Kali again, actually. I think OUTLAST, though, probably that might have been their one round where they troll a little bit. OS teams love to do it, where they go up a bit and they're expecting to win, so they play a little bit more fancy and aggressive. Hopefully, for their sake, they kind of just reel it back in. Really force ODIUM to clear you. Don't go running at them.
There's a time and a place for aggression, and OUTLAST, I thought at the start of the round had a good read, but yeah, not to be, especially in that mid-round. Sometimes you have to cut your losses. You can't keep pushing for refrags. For now, it looks like they have just continued to fall back on this roam, not looking to over-contest. They've given up CCTV, Cash, even Con, and fallen back to site with all 5 players playing really solid positions on site. And this is where you really... Oh, it's actually Yentai down below, which I quite like. With this Bandit juggle and with the Azami and Castle combo, you might be able to keep these players alive. All right, the Kali finds a pick. At least we had the gadget to come in through.
Saw Leader do that last week.
Yeah, look, it was a play. Taking out the Castle barricade and managing to find a pick on that player engine. Here comes an entry, though, from Ray. Wins his fight on ACOG.
Good flick.
4v3 now, advantage ODIUM. Relays is pushing for that refrag, but he loses his life to it. Yentai is trapped, cut off from outside the breach, and OUTLAST are now struggling on their defense. Time to convert the 4 versus 1 for ODIUM. Can't be that hard. Quick 180 from Crying. They're fired up, and they've tied the scoreline 4 rounds apiece.
Yeah, so very quickly, tactical timeout, I think, aptly taken here because 2 very poor defensive rounds from Outlast. That last one, though, I said at the beginning of the round, don't push into them, let them push into you. You know, no disrespect, but right now, ODIUM have shown throughout the first couple of play days that they're the bottom team of the region. It means that they're not going to be as proficient in clearing angles, pushing, being, you know, proactive with their time management probably not going to be the greatest either. So when you start running around on site and you're like, I'm going to start swinging this and through cash and I'm going to, you know, pick this and that. I lost a teammate, so I'm going to try and, you know, overload this position. You're just giving them more potential to get free shots where they're already trying to push into sight looking at you. So when you swing them, they're already looking at you. Like you're just making it free. Force them to push in and have to clear around. Yeah. Like it's basic fundamentals, and Outlast just need to just calm down a little bit because it's very easy when the bullets start flying around. It's a 3v3, then it's a 3v2, and then a 2v2, and everyone's like falling apart. You feel like you got to do something. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. Just sit, hold your position, hold the angles, let them come to you.
One thing I wouldn't mind seeing on that gym defense is a little bit more vertical pressure from the defense on that office position. Teams on both sides in this game have basically had the linchpin of their attack be into logistic office. You can C4 that from kitchen. And yeah, there's no Valkyrie, but you can just pre-place a C4. For example, the Tubarao, who was roaming downstairs, he could have chucked a C4 there, left it, waited for his teammate to be in a fight. You blow that C4 off your teammate's sound cue, and that's a free kill, sometimes 2 free kills.
I mean, look at this setup right now. So Outlast are probably going to do, you know, in the first half where ODIUM had 5 above, then 5 below. It's probably going to be the same thing here now. Basement. Setup, mirror, mute, you know, the Goyo, the Azami, even it literally speaks volume here that they're going to play sight.
Well, the thing that's good about this setup is you've got lots of really good sight util, like you were saying, with the Goyo in particular, the mirror. But you can roam with these operators, you know. Mute and Goyo in particular, like once you've put your util down, you're free license to roam. Even Wamai technically, if you want, though, you do get more value out of those discs if you wait for them to regen over time. He hasn't actually placed any as of yet, so perhaps he's going to try and use them on his roam.
I think it's going to be the basic, what we see a lot of teams do, James, tiny bit of pressure mid-main stairs around that kitchen area, and a tiny bit around secret, and then it's the easy fallback. I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. This looks like stock, standard, default basement clubhouse from Outlast. And you would hope that that should be enough for them to win this round against ODIUM.
Yeah, I am a little bit disappointed that we're not seeing a contest on the top floor. I think you're right. They are not going to be, they're just playing stairs. But I would have liked to see some of those mute jammers on the top floor. I would have liked to see someone hunting drones in the prep phase, because this has allowed ODIUM to make very quick work of this map. Now, if there's anything going for Outlast, they're not going to be punished for their lack of Bandit and Kaid, of course, Kaid being banned, because there's no ace on the board. It's just that Hibana. Maybe Ying has secondary hard breach, but yeah, Ying does have secondary hard breach. So I still feel like there is a lack of hard breach, and look at that. There's a rat hiding in the freezer, by the way.
Yeah, Relays has pushed out from main in towards Kitchen. This is extremely aggressive position, but if he kills it's the only one that is aggressive. So it's not like...
He's going to kill Hibana.
Oh no, he got across. I think he wants to try and get more.
They know.
Oh no, they know. Oh, okay, well he's just completely scuffed it. Wait, did he shoot at the Hibana?
He must have. He must have. They knew somehow. Well played there from ODIUM. They've punished what could have been the X factor that round. Relays kills a Hibana, and that's pretty much GR.
Yeah, certainly would have made it a lot more difficult, but now it's where you kind of question the decision there for Relays. It goes back to what I was saying. Do you just play the main stairs and secret and then fall back? And they don't opt to do that. I was also going to say, you know, when you were disappointed the fact that they weren't playing mute up above, etc., and being aggressive, I was like, well, maybe the first 2 rounds has taken a bit of a dent in their confidence. This would now take a dent. If I'm Relays, like, you're about to give ODIUM the lead, by the way. This is where it starts to get mentally difficult for Outlast, let alone inside of the server. 45 seconds, 4v5. ODIUM looking for another attacking round. This is a team that had not won an attack round coming into this playday, and they're about to find multiple against Outlast. Big kill from Ned.
Yeah, he does have this good advantage with the mirror window. With the flash comes through, Bailey is able to cover him. Solid position inside, but ACOG is caught on a rotation.
Oh, Ned's got them.
Outlast spring into action. There was a big flank from Bailey, now looking for a retrade. Hale makes his way back up the stairs. And amidst the chaos, ODIUM have lost the diffuser and lost what should have been their 3rd attack round in a row.
Oh, hang on.
Whiff flash for Hale. He does have the momentum, but he doesn't have the positioning. Both players catch him in the crossfire. And OUTLAST finally stemmed the bleeding. That's their first defense on the board.
Whew, I'll tell you what, Bailey dropping down the moto hatch there.
Where the bloody hell did he flank from, by the way? Like, honestly. He must have gone up blue or something.
I'm pretty certain he was the player around Secret. So he must have just at one point committed and went all the way up and then for a flank. So, yeah, you can see here, stock to stage, and then eventually drops moto. He actually did get a kill on Cryin, who would have been still above the Ying, playing and throwing those Candelas, would have got caught from that flank. So even though when he does drop the hatch, he dies, but he got one before that. So in the end, flank successful, especially when, you know, if you're playing that blue position, you got to, or Secret, I guess, in that case, you got to make that decision. Do you play from blue looking in, or do you go for that flank? Not often we see a player go for that kind of flank.
Well, especially because the gridlock of Razor actually came from blue stairs. So I don't know what happened with the timing there. Maybe Azami was playing in Oil Pit, and he ended up climbing up the ladder. But yeah, I don't know. We didn't manage to catch everything. There's a lot going on in that round. It was hard to see everything. At the end of it, ODIUM had a decent attack.
Could have been Scooby-Doo-like, where one just goes out and the other one goes in.
It could have been. Wouldn't have been surprised. ODIUM probably should have had pre-players watching for those flanks, though, so a little bit disappointing if they managed to miss that. But amidst the chaos of a 5 versus 5, like, you don't have anyone dedicated to sitting on drones, so you can miss those little details.
Yeah, the Kali, again, is intriguing. I don't know if it's like a comfort pick for Razor, or if they've got a specific reasoning for it, but I can't say I've seen huge success, and it's not something that's typically seen all that often when it does come to Clubhouse.
Especially when Thatch is up. Kali does have her own benefits, especially when Mira is being utilized a lot by the defense. Ash and Kali, between the two of them, have 6 projectiles that will drill into those mirror windows and break that glass.
That's the thing, though. You've got the Ash, right? So wouldn't you just be better off maybe bringing the Thatcher?
Thatcher only disables the gadgets on the wall, whereas the Kali will actually destroy it. And if you're confident with that rifle, you can also get a lot of value out of it. I mean, have a look at this angle, for example. 12x zoom. He's going to have to be very quick on the fingers, though, to manage to land that. It barely looks to cross. Still holding on to top red and cash as long as possible.
Relay's finally just falling back and playing a bit more defensive this round. He actually gives up red and cash a lot earlier. Keeper barriers to deny that line of sight from the Kali, looking inwards towards Con. It's actually Cryin now out in the balcony directly, and Razor more so towards that gym window. Castle barricade in towards bedroom. So back of sight holds here right now for OUTLAST Gaming, looking to get to that match point scenario. Freelo, last time out, did lose a Salma in this scenario, but did get Jacuzzi opened up.
Yeah, but the priority here is actually killing the Bandit. They want to bait him in. They need to time this Selma with the Kali, destroying this castle barricade. And now the angle is exposed. We can see Hale tries to contest. They've got the 2 Burrell. That's the difference this time around.
Yeah, that's not going to... I mean, it's going to delay.
He shut it off anyway.
60 seconds. Kali has been certainly a helping hand in this scenario, but so much time being put into this, and yet still haven't achieved a whole lot. Only just now we're going to get a bit of breach in towards Jacuzzi. 45 seconds coming our way in a 5v5.
What's ACOG doing? Big rotation from ACOG all the way down to the basement. This is the C4 in office I was talking about. He was all the way down in Oil Pit, but his teammate made that call. And now the execute has to happen on site, but OUTLAST are outliving ODIUM. Hale against 3 now. He might have taken control of this position, but it's a 1v2 on site while ACOG is still running it back.
The kit's outside.
1v1 now on site, and he spots the player. He might be able to make this possible.
Just don't peek. The kit's outside. They've left it out.
15 seconds remaining.
I mean, there's 10 seconds left. So even if he does get this kill on the player in Con, it's not going to make a difference. Headshot available.
Bang.
Bang. 3 in the round. Good little stat pad for Hale. I mean, he's doing everything he possibly can. Nitro, I mean, Ned at this point probably anticipating a plant in towards Jim, but he doesn't have the kit.
Yeah. I was still quite well played, though, I gotta say. Credit to Hale. He made it very close. He probably needed to go for the diffuser instead of going for that player in Con. He must have had info. He must have had a call on that rotation back. Overall, solid round from ODIUM. They're going to take their tactical timeout now, as OUTLAST are on the verge of victory.
Look, more competitive today from ODIUM, that's for sure. They've looked a hell of a lot better in this matchup against OUTLAST, and in some ways, even if OUTLAST win and get all 3 points, a tiny little dent in the momentum they've built up over the first 2 play days. Not taking too much from them, but certainly showing that they are human and they're still a new team. They're prone to mistakes. Better in that round, and even at the end, I like the fact that there's, you know, that fallback, you know, the last player, the Nitrocell prepped, just in case he goes for that plant, it's going to be there, and if he's not there, then the round's over and you can run away. So, and even ACOG hiding in con, he doesn't move there. He just gets, you know, eventually hunted down. But there's like 10 seconds left. So at that point, if I'm dying there as ACOG, I'm not too disappointed. 11 kills for ACOG in this game as well. He's played really hard. And also for OUTLAST, I think Relays over the first 2 play days was like one of their better players, and he hasn't really done much in this game. So, you know, the good news for them is if you can win when you're not playing at your best, that's a good sign of a good team. 6-4, 2 opportunities to close this out, get all 3 points, which really I think is going to be quite customary against ODIUM. It's just the reality of the situation. For all teams in this league, it's going to have to be, we need to get 3 points against ODIUM.
Yeah, and if OUTLAST do so, they'll actually jump above Gaming Gladiators and sit first on the standings at the end of today. The only team so far.
Yeah, I forgot that actually GG and Chiefs won one each in overtime.
Exactly, and it wasn't against the greatest teams ever. I mean, Chiefs dropped points to CS, and GG dropped points to Supernova. Both of which...
Both to play after this, though, against each other.
True. You know a matchup that I'm actually really excited to see? Obviously, everyone wants to see GG Chiefs, but I reckon a sleeper surprise game will be OUTLAST versus Prodigy. Because Prodigy have looked really good.
I thought you were going to say OUTLAST Chiefs.
Yes, but I think OUTLAST, Prodigy both are in conversation to be battling for third, in my mind, in their current form. I mean, Prodigy have looked pretty damn good. They smashed ODIUM more than this. And even though Prodigy did lose out to Chiefs, that conversation changed, I think, a lot today when Prodigy gave a real fight to GG.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think that you could probably put Prodigy in that conversation with OUTLAST, with Antic, all around that kind of... Like, almost like those 3 teams, like, can we get to that Chiefs level, right? Yeah. Which is really good for the region, because then instead of like a top 4, it's almost like a top 5. Exactly. If Prodigy can really, you know, make that sort of jump. This one's not over yet. ODIUM have already shown they've got the ability to get a couple of attacking rounds. Razor now actually onto the Thatcher, by the way. So not much of a change up. They do bring the Fuse as well, keeping the Ash along with the Thatcher. No Carly this time around, James.
This C4 could be big. Does it land? Bang! See you later, Crine. No more Thermite. No more Hard Breach. Not even Tin Can Openers brought on the Ying. This is really, really grim now for ODIUM. However, they do find a pick. Yeah, that's big from Ray. The only way that ODIUM win this is by fragging out. They have no breaching capability.
Oh, and they've just lost Freelo.
Nothing scarier than that Boss G coming for you. 4v3 now. Numb's disadvantage for the attack. 0 hard breach. I mean, this round really should be over. And if I'm OUTLAST, I'm just chilling. Like, you really don't need to over-aggress here. The only way you lose this is by losing ones.
Yeah, and that goes back to a couple of rounds ago when it was Gym Bedroom and they just started swinging everything. Good position here. Boss G again will get the kill onto Razor, who walks... unfortunately into his sight. And that's also the diffuser.
And default was up, by the way.
Yeah, I think this is just a case of OUTLAST Gaming probably could have played this whole match a little bit better, and then they finally improved as the game's gone on. It's good for ODIUM that they got, you know, off of the duck in terms of attacking round wins. They've broken that curse. They've gotten a couple of defensive rounds. Certainly a far more competitive game, but there is clearly a gulf between these two teams. Ray taken down to 7 HP. That is so deadly. Hail will fall as well. Relays with 3 and make that 4. A bit of a quiet game from Relays, James, but hey, 4 to finish it off means job done. 7-4 as well. For OUTLAST, they go undefeated. They go to the top of the table.
Can't believe it, but these guys are looking like the best team in the region, at least for now on points. They haven't yet met a true test, but they've looked really solid against Antic, Supernova, and now ODIUM as well. Really solid for OUTLAST, and I think the conversation has well and truly begun. These guys are looking like a serious contender at the top half of the standings, but let's see what the guest has. Let's see what the desk has to say. The guests on the desk have to say.
Do we want to retake that? Maybe we can rewind time and give him one more shot at that one. Look, Outlast outright first, Vinny.
You still messed it up.
No, I got it right. Thank you very much. Vincia was giving me some hosting tips behind the scenes, so I thought I'd just try one for size. ODIUM, much better from them today.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best performance we've seen from them so far. I definitely thought it was going to be a bit more one-sided, but I think it was probably more a case of Outlast not playing to their full potential today.
Yeah, sure.
And I think they kind of fell into the trap of playing against a team that's probably a little bit worse than them and sort of coming down to their level rather than ODIUM putting together really great rounds.
Is it at all concerning for you guys? You know, kind of mentioning on the back of the comments that Vinny's just made, you know, like kind of lowering their level to where they are. Do you find that potentially to be an issue for Outlast moving forward?
I mean, it could be, right? But typically as the stage goes on, the competition increases in terms of difficulty, and certainly if they're in contention for playoffs, they're very much so at this point in time. They probably won't have to quote-unquote stoop down to other teams' levels, so I think in that respect it's probably not all that concerning.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're probably going to look back at this performance, watch the VOD, and be scratching their heads at a couple of those rounds and being like, lads, what the hell are we doing there giving freebies?
Yeah.
But fortunately, they walk away with 3 points, so it's really no harm done. And for both teams, it really is just a learning experience. It
certainly is. We've got Bailey on the other side of the line, and we can start to have a little bit of a chin wag with him, always ever confident. That's 3 7-4s in a row, Bailey. This game, obviously, we expected. This is probably the game we expected to see a strong performance, and ODIUM came out swinging. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
I think we played really bad today, so I'm glad that it was against a team that we could play bad and still get away with a win. My excuse was going to be I let it go 7-4 just to match it with the other games, but I feel like that's not a very good excuse for that performance.
Not anymore, it's not, Vinny? Oh, Guzzler.
Yeah, we'll get in first.
Sorry.
Bailey, in the pre-stage for this particular second stage of OCE, you guys obviously did your tier lists, and you did put these guys right at the bottom. I'm pretty sure you said something along the lines of this will be a free 3-pointer. It wasn't quite the case tonight. You said yourself you didn't play that great. Is there any particular part of your game or the team's game that just wasn't really there tonight?
I just felt like a really off day for us today. Everyone was in a bit of a bad mood. I don't know. They weren't even playing that bad, to be honest. It was good to see that they were actually playing decent, getting rounds. Good to see, because they might do that against other teams, which would make it a bit more entertaining than getting 7-0'd every game.
Yeah, I got a question about the veto. Obviously, you guys went to club. Was that always the plan, or did you guys have a different map in mind?
We didn't really plan too much for this game. So, we weren't sure if we wanted to, go to an actual map or just go any map and just get the win. But I don't know. I personally don't really know if club was the play. But we got the win, so it doesn't really matter.
That's all that matters, right? As long as you're taking the wins when they matter. Speaking of wins and when they matter, you take on Circular Spheres tomorrow. How are you feeling about that matchup in particular? They don't look as hot as what we've once seen them.
Honestly, I'm interested to see how they play in the coming game against Supernova. I feel like that'll be a good benchmark to get a feel for them, because when they got 7-0'd by Antic, I feel like that was just one of them bad days for that team. So it's hard to really use that game as an example. So now I'm pretty much just waiting for this next game, and however that goes will probably decide how confident I am, I'd say.
I thought you were abundantly confident. What's happened, Bailey?
I don't know. I feel like I can't be too confident after nearly going OT with ODIUM. So
you know what? I can
snap back to reality today.
Yeah, I've got to respect from the Thanos comment to now snapping back to reality instead of taking it away. It makes a bit of sense, mate. Anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
ACOG was Thanos today. He was playing pretty crazy.
Yeah,
he won us most of our attack rounds.
Yeah,
good to see a young fella playing good.
Hang on, did you just call him young fella?
Yeah, he's the youngest fella in the league, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god. Where does that put you
nice
then?
To see him. I'm not a young player anymore.
No.
Bit of a veteran.
Oh, God. Mate, I can't even see a whisker on your chin. How can you be a veteran?
I got a stage under my belt.
Yeah, that's enough. That's what it takes nowadays, mate. Thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck in your game against Circular Spheres tomorrow.
No worries. All right, see you tomorrow.
Jeez, the confidence. See you tomorrow. Well, we'll see him tomorrow. Whether we see him in the interview is another question altogether. But it does feel like that is just the way it's trending. Outlast are looking phenomenal.
It is, but I think this game was actually pretty important for them. He said it's a bit of a humbling experience.
Yeah.
I think after the first 2 play days, they were probably, you know, pretty up on themselves. They thought they were unstoppable, but ODIUM...
Did you just call them up themselves? Wow, Vinny, you can't say that.
He called himself Thanos. He called his whole team Thanos.
He did, actually.
And he was correct today. ACOG was Thanos. I think he had a very quick start on those attacks. When his team looked like they were out of a few of those rounds, I think he quickly got out to like a 10 and 2 scoreline, and then he slowed down a little bit on that defensive half. But yeah, put the work in early to put his team in a good spot. Yeah, and just to kind of double down on the comments there, 11 and 7 for ACOG. I'm going to bring it up on your screen now, and a 73% cost across all of the rounds in which he played. That's a pretty good result, and overall a good result for Outlast, which now puts them back in that conversation, Guz. They need to make sure that they're competitive against the teams above them, and they need to make sure they put the teams below them to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking across in terms of individual performances tonight, as Bailey mentioned in the interview, another really, really good night for ACOG. He came into the night sitting at around about a 132 EPS, and so producing a 121 in a closer matchup is indicative that he's very much a player to keep our eyes on as this stage progresses.
Well, Guz, as much as I'd like to keep you on the desk, and we really appreciate that analysis, if you'll call it that, we're going to go to a break and swap some proper analysts onto the desk.
Drop the bomb. 15 seconds left. 5 seconds remaining. Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Reloading!
Attackers found the diffuser
Into the final game of the night, and that took no time whatsoever. We've got Jake Xenox Venditti joining us back on the analyst desk. I do want to get your opinion on that match that we just saw, because ODIUM have a bit of bite about him.
Yeah, it's good to see. I think that whenever a team is, getting off to a poor stage, they're fresh, new to the league as well at this level.
Yep.
We saw the stats as well, 0% win rate on attack, 8% on defense. For them to be able to get something from that game, sure, no points, but certainly a little bit more respect and somewhat of a wake-up call for Outlast that it's not going to be all that easy every week, and that, hey, if you're not on your A game, even the bottom team can push you a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. Speaking of a team that really is struggling to get points, Circular Spheres. They're not having a good one right now. They are really struggling. They only have 1 point from their first 2 opening matches. Granted, it was an overtime against the Chiefs. We got a little bit excited for them on Playday 1, to which they got 7-0'd, Vinny, on Playday 2 by Antic.
Yeah, and it's a little surprising. I think with the 3 roster moves they ended up making, bringing in Killerman, save the Neptune, we thought maybe this extra bit of firepower might be what takes them to the next level. But if anything, it sort of brought them back a little bit. Obviously, Japer and Physics have been on this roster for quite a while. They were in stage 1, and we think that they bring a bit of that sort of stability and that IGLing to the role. But yeah, just haven't been able to click so far. And we highlighted last night the effect of Killerman and his entry. And at the moment, he's currently 5-7. And we also highlighted how when he's the opening death, almost always, I think every round so far, it's resulted in his team losing the round. So again, tonight, it's going to be really important for him to step up and just to keep his life and have an impact on rounds.
I actually think he was the opening kill, he got the opening kill 3 rounds in a row last. Actually, yeah, it was, because they lost all their rounds. So, that's 10 rounds that he's been a part of an opening kill or death, and they've gone on to lose. So there is a very big discussion point for Circular Spheres at this point. But let's start to talk about Supernova. They also haven't gotten off to a great stage either. They are only on a point. That's right, both of these 2 rosters, which I thought were going to be relatively competitive, at least in the mid-pack, have gotten off to a stinker, Xenox. That's probably the only way I can put it without being too brutal.
I think probably we've seen a bit more from Supernova, though.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think also when you take into account Playday 1, they had Pinku, who was nuts, and then but they didn't have President. And then President comes in, and he actually played quite well in his game as well yesterday. So I think there's more to this roster. I mean, without kind of beating down on Circular Spheres, we've seen a lot of CS over the last couple of years, and I feel like they've plateaued, or maybe even in this case gotten a little bit worse.
That's fair.
I think that this is a roster that can certainly continue to improve. You can get more out of Dirty. 0 and 2 on the entry, 38% cost would probably be almost like at the bottom in terms of this league statistically. Palarazi still kind of finding his feet at this level, and President being the one that yesterday actually kind of set the tone is really good for him as one of the more veterans, I guess, now at this point. So I've backed in Supernova. In fact, everyone's backed in Supernova except for Guz, who's doubled down on Circular Spheres after he went for them yesterday. Clearly didn't learn his lesson. But look, I will say, when I saw the talent predictions at the start of the day, at the top of the show, I was a bit surprised no one else went for CS.
Yeah.
Should be closer to 50-50. Ready to get your heads ripped off, says Palarazi.
What do you reckon about that, Xenox?
I like it. Good fighting words.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Supernova should be winning this game. If they want to be in that conversation with Prodigy, with Antic, with Outlast, and trying to fight, for a top 4 position, you got to be winning these.
Yeah. Big talk for a guy that's got a jersey photoshopped over the top of him. It's all love. Palarazi, please don't come after me. Just to double down on your comment about Dirty, 2 games, he's been okay. Obviously, last stage, we saw something that really gave us a lot of hope. Unfortunately, he is in the bottom 10. He's 35th out of 41 players, so he's the 6th worst rated player in the league at the moment. So that's just kind of emphasizing Xenox's point that if we get a bit more out of him, maybe we'll start to see Supernova grow even further. This is a matchup that, even coming into the stage, was going to be close, Vinny, but today it has to be close. Both of these teams have a lot, even just like outside of the points and the worry about getting into playoffs, both of these teams have a lot on the line in terms of their own storylines. Yeah,
100%, and I think we spoke about it a little bit last night as well, is that you have to be competitive in these games before you start moving towards playoffs and playing against your GG and your Chiefs. You need to have a bit of confidence going into those matches.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, I think there's still a lot to see from Supernova. Obviously, we've only seen them on Consulate so far on both play days. They've banned it out relatively early just to see something different.
Good map.
And yeah, we're going to Nighthaven, which we haven't seen, I don't think, from either team so far.
Yep.
Or that much at all this stage so far. So it'll be interesting to see sort of how the meta's shifted in the off-season, and yeah, Circular Spheres on defense first.
We've only seen Nighthaven Labs once, in fact, out of the opening, 11 games we've had now. Xenox, you happy with Labs?
It's a great map. It's a good map to obviously get a bit of a feel for these two teams as well, and the way that they're playing their Siege at the moment, Labs, if you know how to play the map, it's going to be pretty evident. If you don't know how to play it, it's going to be pretty evident as well.
Yeah.
I remember Play-Day 1, we were talking about it, and Vinny hasn't had the chance to play much Labs, for example, retiring a little bit around the time it came in. So I think this is going to be a really good showing from these two teams that are essentially at a point now. This is the crazy nature of our league. We're Play-Day 3 out of 7.